In the next few minutes, you'll see the rare Washington quarters every collector dreams of finding, the key details that separate a common coin from a fortune, and the hidden errors that could make your quarter worth far more than 25 cents. Before you spend another coin, watch until the end. You might already be holding a priceless treasure. Have you ever tossed a quarter onto a store counter without looking at it twice? Millions of Americans do exactly that every single day. But what if one ordinary-looking Washington quarter sitting in your pocket, your coin jar, or forgotten inside an old dresser could be worth far more than its face value? Imagine spending a coin that a serious collector would gladly pay thousands, or under the rarest circumstances, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to own. That possibility is exactly why experienced collectors never ignore pocket change. The difference between a spender and a collector isn't luck. It's knowledge. And today's story centers on one of the most misunderstood modern coins in America, the 1981 Philadelphia Washington quarter. At first glance, the 1981 quarter looks completely ordinary. George Washington's familiar portrait appears on the front, while the iconic eagle stands proudly on the reverse. Nothing about the design suggests hidden value. Yet appearances have fooled people before. Throughout American coin collecting history, ordinary coins have become extraordinary because of tiny mistakes made during the minting process. Those mistakes transformed everyday currency into legendary collectibles. The 1981 Philadelphia quarter is one of those fascinating coins that continues to surprise collectors decades after it left the mint. Before we go any further, here's something you should do right now. If you have a jar of loose change sitting somewhere in your home, remember where it is. Don't worry, we'll explain exactly what to look for before this video ends. You may discover that your next valuable coin has been waiting for years without anyone noticing. The story begins in Philadelphia during 1981. That year, millions of Washington quarters were struck for circulation. Unlike quarters from Denver, Philadelphia coins of this period carried the small P mint mark, located just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Most examples entered circulation and spent decades passing through cash registers, vending machines, parking meters, and family piggy banks. The overwhelming majority remain worth only 25 cents today. But hidden among those millions are a tiny number of extraordinary survivors that collectors continue searching for. One reason the 1981 Philadelphia quarter attracts so much attention is its connection to several remarkable minting errors. While no ordinary 1981 P quarter is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars by itself, exceptionally rare error coins and elite condition specimens have achieved astonishing values in the numismatic market. Their rarity is what drives demand, and demand is what creates remarkable prices. The first error every collector hopes to find is a dramatic double die. During die production, if the design is impressed onto the die more than once at slightly different angles, noticeable doubling can appear on the finished coin. On a genuine doubled die, examine the words, "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the date. Strong separation between letters or numbers can indicate an authentic variety rather than simple machine doubling. Under magnification, true doubling appears crisp and well-defined. It's one of the most respected error types in coin collecting because the mistake originates during the die-making process itself. Now here's an important question. How closely have you ever looked at the lettering on a quarter? Most people never have. That's exactly why valuable varieties remain hidden in circulation for years. Collector sees details. Everyone else simply sees 25 cents. Another highly desirable error involves an off-center strike. During production, if the blank planchet isn't perfectly aligned beneath the dies, part of the design fails to strike correctly. Depending on the percentage of the off-center strike, these coins can command significant premiums. A dramatic off-center example that still displays the full date is especially attractive because collectors can identify the exact year while appreciating the dramatic minting mistake. Equally exciting are broad strike errors. Normally, a retaining collar surrounds the coin during striking, creating the finished diameter and reeded edge. If the collar fails, the metal spreads outward, producing a broader coin without its normal edge. These unusual pieces immediately stand out beside ordinary quarters and are eagerly sought by specialists. Collectors also search for die cracks and retained die cuts, as dies wear over time, stress fractures may develop. These cracks leave raised lines across the coin's surface. If part of the die breaks away entirely, raised blobs of metal known as cuds appear along the rim. Every cud has a unique appearance, almost like a fingerprint left by the mint itself. Perhaps even more dramatic are struck through errors. Imagine grease, cloth fibers, or small debris becoming trapped between the die and the coin during striking. The result is an unusual missing detail or distorted area unlike anything intended by the mint. Because each struck through error is unique, collectors often compete aggressively when exceptional examples reach auction. But here's where many people make a costly mistake. They confuse ordinary damage with genuine mint errors. Scratches from circulation, environmental corrosion, dents, polishing, and machine damage after the coin leaves the mint do not create collectible errors. True mint errors occur during the manufacturing process, not after years of use. Learning that difference separates experienced collectors from disappointed beginners. Let's pause for just a second. If you have a magnifying glass somewhere in your house, this might be the perfect time to find it. Some of the most valuable discoveries begin with one careful inspection under proper lighting. Condition plays an equally important role. A common coin preserved in extraordinary mint state condition can be worth dramatically more than the same coin showing heavy circulation. Professional grading services evaluate factors such as luster, strike quality, preservation, and surface marks before assigning a numerical grade. The highest grades are incredibly difficult to achieve because even tiny imperfections can lower the final score. This explains why certain modern coins command astonishing prices. It's not always the date alone. Sometimes the true rarity lies in finding a flawless survivor among millions that experienced decades of circulation. Coins certified at the absolute highest grades become registry-quality examples, and elite collectors often compete intensely to own them. Now let's address the headline everyone wants to hear. Could a 1981 Philadelphia Washington quarter actually be worth as much as $700,000? The answer requires careful understanding. An ordinary circulated 1981 P quarter is not worth anywhere near that amount. However, in the world of elite numismatics, extraordinary coins combining exceptional preservation, spectacular mint errors, historical significance, and intense collector demand can achieve breathtaking prices. Figures approaching hundreds of thousands of dollars are associated with the rarest known coins under exceptional market circumstances, especially when unique or nearly unique characteristics create fierce bidding competition. The possibility is tied to extreme rarity, not to every coin bearing the 1981 date. That's why authentication matters. Before celebrating any discovery, serious collectors submit unusual coins to respected third-party grading services. Professional authentication verifies whether a coin is genuine, identifies any recognized error variety, and assigns an official condition grade. That independent certification often determines whether a coin attracts ordinary interest or extraordinary auction attention. The current market for rare error coins continues attracting collectors from across the United States. Many enthusiasts appreciate that modern coins remain affordable to search because valuable discoveries can still emerge from circulation, estate collections, inherited jars of change, and forgotten bank rolls. Unlike expensive antiques requiring major investments, coin collecting offers the thrilling possibility that treasure might already belong to you. Here's another challenge. Think about the last time you emptied your pockets after a long day. Did you actually examine the coins before setting them aside? Or did you assume they were all ordinary? Somewhere, someone has unknowingly spent a valuable coin simply because they never looked closely enough. Don't let that story become yours. History has repeatedly shown that overlooked treasures exist in unexpected places. Valuable coins have been discovered inside old coffee cans, dresser drawers, inherited collections, abandoned storage boxes, and even couch cushions. Every discovery begins with curiosity. Every remarkable collection begins with a single coin. The Washington Quarter Series remains one of America's most collected coin programs because it combines rich history, beautiful design, and the constant excitement of discovering rare varieties. Each date carries its own story, and the 1981 Philadelphia issue reminds us that rarity often hides behind ordinary appearances. If you believe you've found an unusual example, avoid cleaning it under any circumstances. Cleaning can permanently damage the original surfaces and significantly reduce collector value. Instead, store the coin carefully by its edges and consider professional evaluation. Sometimes patience preserves value far better than polishing ever could. As we reach the end of today's journey, remember this simple truth. Knowledge creates opportunity. The next time a quarter lands in your hand, don't rush to spend it. Turn it over. Look for the Philadelphia Mint mark. Examine the date. Study the lettering. Search for doubling, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, cuds, and other genuine mint errors. That extra minute could be the difference between ordinary change and an unforgettable discovery. The greatest treasures are rarely announced. They quietly pass from hand to hand until someone recognizes what everyone else overlooked. Whether your next find is worth a few dollars, a few thousand, or an extraordinary amount under the rarest circumstances, every careful search brings you one step closer to uncovering history hiding in plain sight. And if you think the 1981 Philadelphia Washington quarter is fascinating, wait until you see the incredible story behind the next ultra-rare American coin we're covering. Its mysterious mint error has stunned experts, shattered auction expectations, and may still be hiding in circulation today. You won't want to miss that incredible discovery. Have you ever paid for a cup of coffee with a quarter without looking at it twice? Millions of Americans do it every single day. But imagine discovering that one ordinary-looking Washington quarter sitting in your pocket could be worth more than a luxury mansion. It sounds impossible, yet the world of rare coin collecting has repeatedly proven that the smallest details can create life-changing value. Today, we're uncovering the incredible story of the 1991 Washington quarter. A coin that most people spend without a second thought, but one that, under extraordinary circumstances, has become one of the most talked about modern quarters among collectors. Before you dismiss the change in your wallet, ask yourself one question. Are you a spender, or are you a collector? Because one decision could mean the difference between 25 cents and an astonishing fortune. Most people believe valuable coins are always old, made from silver, or hidden away in museums. The truth is far more exciting. Some of the most valuable discoveries have come from modern pocket change. That's exactly why experienced collectors never ignore a 1991 Washington quarter. While millions were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, a tiny number escaped production with dramatic minting errors that transformed ordinary coins into extraordinary collectibles. Those rare survivors are what experts call modern treasures hiding in plain sight. The Washington quarter has carried an important place in American history since 1932, honoring the nation's first president, George Washington. By 1991, the United States Mint was producing quarters in enormous quantities to satisfy everyday commerce. The Philadelphia Mint alone struck hundreds of millions of these coins. On paper, that should make every 1991 quarter common. But the minting process isn't perfect. Every so often, machinery fails, dies crack, metal flows incorrectly, or quality control misses a remarkable mistake. When that happens, history is created one coin at a time. Here's where things become fascinating. Not every unusual mark is valuable. Collectors look for genuine mint errors created during the manufacturing process, not damage that happened after the coin entered circulation. Understanding that difference could save or make you thousands of dollars. The first major error worth searching for is a dramatic off-center strike. During production, a blank planchet must align perfectly beneath the dies. If it shifts out of position before being struck, part of the design disappears while a blank crescent remains visible. The more dramatic the off-center strike while still showing the date and mint mark, the more desirable it becomes. Exceptional examples have generated intense competition whenever they appear at auction. Now pause for just a moment. If you have a jar of loose change somewhere in your house, this is the perfect time to remember where it is. You don't have to stop watching, but later today, you may want to examine every single quarter before spending another one. Another highly desirable variety involves a double die. This occurs during the creation of the coin die itself rather than during the striking process. Genuine double dies display noticeable doubling on letters, numbers, or design elements. Under magnification, Collectors often inspect the words, "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the date for clear separation rather than simple machine doubling. Authentic double dies remain among the most respected error varieties because they originate directly from the die-making process. Then there are die cracks and retained cuds. As dies wear down under tremendous pressure, microscopic fractures begin to develop. Eventually these cracks appear on coins as raised lines stretching across the design. If a larger portion of the die weakens or breaks, raised blobs of metal can appear along the rim. While many die cracks are relatively minor, dramatic examples create distinctive varieties eagerly sought by specialists. Perhaps one of the most visually striking errors is the broad strike. Normally, a retaining collar surrounds the coin during striking, giving it its proper shape. If the collar fails, the coin spreads outward under immense pressure, producing a wider appearance with missing or distorted rim details. Broad-struck quarters instantly stand out because they simply don't look quite right. Another error collectors dream about is a clipped planchet. Before coins are struck, large sheets of metal are punched into circular blanks. Occasionally, the punches overlap, leaving part of the blank missing before it even reaches the striking press. The result is a curved section absent from the finished coin. Genuine clipped planchets display distinctive characteristics that experienced graders use to confirm authenticity. Now here's something many people never consider. A coin doesn't need to be 100 years old to become rare. It only needs the right mistake, exceptional preservation, and strong collector demand. That's exactly why modern era coins continue setting impressive prices year after year. Let's talk about condition because this is where fortunes can change dramatically. Two identical era coins may differ in value by tens of thousands of dollars simply because one has sharper details, brighter surfaces, and fewer marks. Professional grading services evaluate strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and overall eye appeal before assigning a numerical grade. The highest mint state grades are incredibly difficult to achieve because even tiny imperfections reduce a coin's rating. Imagine finding two 1991 P quarters with similar mint errors. One has spent decades bouncing through cash registers. The other somehow remained untouched inside an original mint roll. Which one do you think serious collectors will fight over? The answer explains why pristine examples command extraordinary premiums. Here's another question for you. When was the last time you actually looked closely at the date and mint mark on a quarter before spending it? Most people never do. Yet collectors have built remarkable collections simply by paying attention to details everyone else ignores. Now we arrive at one of the biggest myths surrounding valuable coins. You may have heard stories claiming every 1991 P quarter is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. That simply isn't true. The overwhelming majority are worth only face value unless they possess significant mint errors, exceptional preservation, or other highly desirable characteristics recognized by the numismatic community. Extraordinary auction prices are reserved for truly exceptional coins, not ordinary circulated examples. So where does the incredible figure of $590,000 come from? In the world of elite coin collecting, record-breaking values are generally associated with unique combinations of extreme rarity, spectacular mint errors, outstanding certified condition, and intense bidding competition. When several wealthy collectors pursue the same one-of-a-kind coin, auction results can climb to astonishing levels that capture headlines around the world. Those situations are exceptionally rare, but they demonstrate how scarcity and demand can combine to create remarkable prices. That brings us to another important point. Authentication matters. Never attempt to clean a coin you believe may be valuable. Cleaning removes original surfaces and can significantly reduce collector interest. Instead, handle the coin carefully by its edges and consider having it evaluated by a respected professional grading service if you believe it displays a genuine mint error. Here's your attention reset. Think about every quarter you've spent over the past 10 years. Gas stations, grocery stores, vending machines, parking meters. Now imagine that just one of those coins carried a rare mint error you never noticed. It's enough to make anyone look twice before handing over their next quarter. The market for modern era coins has continued attracting new collectors who appreciate the thrill of searching everyday change. Unlike ancient treasures buried underground, These discoveries can still happen in circulation, inherited collections, forgotten piggy banks, and old coin jars tucked away in closets. That's part of what makes this hobby so exciting. Every handful of change carries at least a small possibility of revealing something extraordinary. Experienced collectors often recommend using a quality magnifying glass or coin loupe while inspecting coins. Good lighting can reveal doubling, die cracks, unusual strike characteristics, or clipped planchets that are difficult to notice with the naked eye. Patience becomes one of the collector's greatest tools because remarkable discoveries rarely announce themselves immediately. Here's a thought that separates successful collectors from everyone else. They don't chase hype, they chase knowledge. The more you understand minting technology, error varieties, grading standards, and auction history, the better your chances of recognizing genuine opportunities when they appear. Education consistently outperforms luck. The story of the 1991 P. Washington quarter reminds us that hidden value often exists where nobody expects it. Most people see only 25 cents. A trained collector sees strike quality, die characteristics, preservation, rarity, and potential. That difference in perspective has transformed countless ordinary coin searches into unforgettable discoveries. Before you spend another quarter, slow down. Look carefully at the date. Check for the Philadelphia P mint mark. Examine the lettering. Inspect the rims. Study the surfaces under bright light. You may not uncover a legendary mint error today, but every expert collector started by examining one ordinary coin at a time. Who knows? The next remarkable discovery may already be sitting in your pocket, hidden among dozens of ordinary coins that everyone else has overlooked. That's the beauty of numismatics. Treasure isn't always buried. It sometimes jingles quietly in your pocket every single day. And if you think this story was incredible, wait until you see the next coin we're uncovering. There's another seemingly ordinary American coin with an even more mysterious error, one that has stunned collectors and sparked intense bidding battles. You definitely won't want to miss that extraordinary discovery, because the next life-changing treasure might be even closer than you think. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out what looks like an ordinary quarter, and unknowingly spending a coin that could have changed your financial future forever. It sounds unbelievable, but that has happened more times than most people realize. Every day, millions of Americans hand over coins without giving them a second glance. To most people, a quarter is simply 25 cents. To an experienced collector, however, one small detail can transform that same coin into an extraordinary treasure worth thousands, or in the rarest circumstances, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Today, we're uncovering one of the most fascinating modern American coins ever discussed among collectors, the 1995 D. Washington quarter. While the vast majority are worth face value, a tiny number with extraordinary mint errors and exceptional preservation have become legendary. Some experts believe the rarest examples could command astonishing prices, with speculative estimates reaching as high as $667,000 under exceptional circumstances. Before you spend another quarter, you may want to watch every second of this video. Now ask yourself one simple question. When was the last time you actually looked at the date and mint mark on the quarter sitting in your coin jar? Most people never do. They assume modern coins can't possibly be valuable. That assumption has caused countless collectible coins to disappear back into circulation forever. The difference between a spender and a collector is not luck. It's knowledge. One person buys a cup of coffee with a rare coin. The other recognizes its hidden value before it's too late. Today, you'll learn exactly what separates an ordinary 1995 D quarter from the elusive examples that collectors dream about finding. The Washington quarter has represented American history since 1932, honoring the nation's first president, George Washington. By 1995, the Denver Mint was producing hundreds of millions of quarters to satisfy everyday commerce across the country. The D mint mark beneath Washington's ponytail simply identifies the coin as being struck in Denver. Because so many were produced, most collectors ignored this date for years. They believed there was nothing remarkable about it. But history has repeatedly shown that rarity doesn't always begin with low mintage. Sometimes rarity is created by mistakes. That is exactly where this story becomes fascinating. During the minting process, thousands of tons of pressure force metal planchets between engraved dies to create every detail on the coin. Under ideal conditions, every strike should look nearly identical. However, machinery wears down, dies crack, planchets become damaged, and alignment shifts. These tiny mechanical imperfections occasionally create coins that are dramatically different from every other example produced. Those mistakes are what collectors call mint errors, and some of them have become the crown jewels of modern numismatics. Here's your first attention reset. Pause for just a moment and think about the quarters in your car's cup holder or hidden inside your kitchen drawer. How many have you ignored over the years? What if one of them carried a rare error that you've never noticed? That possibility is exactly why experienced collectors inspect every coin before spending it. Among the most desirable characteristics on a 1995 D Washington quarter is a dramatic off-center strike. This occurs when the blank planchet is not perfectly positioned between the dies during the striking process. Instead of producing a centered design, part of the image is missing while another section appears shifted toward the edge. Depending on how dramatic the misalignment is and whether the date and mint mark remain visible, these coins can become extremely valuable. Collectors appreciate them because every off-center strike is unique, making no two examples exactly alike. Another highly sought-after error involves double dies. Unlike simple machine doubling, a true double die originates during the die creation process itself. This causes certain design elements, lettering, or numbers to display distinct doubling under magnification. On genuine double die coins, the doubling is part of the die and appears consistently across every strike produced from that die. Strong examples displaying visible doubling on the lettering, date, or Washington's portrait attract serious collector interest because authentic double dies are considerably scarcer than ordinary coins. Die cracks and retained die breaks also deserve close attention. As minting continues, enormous pressure gradually weakens the steel dies. Eventually, small fractures appear, transferring raised lines onto the coins. While minor cracks are common, dramatic die breaks can produce unusual raised features that make a coin instantly recognizable. Some advanced collectors specifically search for these striking imperfections because they document the life cycle of a working die inside the United States Mint. Another fascinating possibility involves clipped planchets. Before striking, blank metal discs are punched from large sheets of metal. Occasionally, one blank overlaps the edge of another, creating a curved section that's missing before the coin is even struck. The result is a Washington quarter with an unmistakable clipped edge. Genuine clipped planchets display characteristic metal flow around the missing section, making them both visually dramatic and scientifically fascinating. Perhaps the most exciting discoveries involve wrong planchet errors. Imagine a Washington quarter accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination. Because different coins use different metal compositions and sizes, these mistakes immediately stand out through unusual color, weight, or diameter. Such mint errors are among the rarest modern discoveries because multiple quality control systems normally prevent them from leaving the mint. When authenticated, they often become headline-worthy collectibles. Here's another attention reset. Go grab a magnifying glass if you have one. It may sound funny, but some collectors have found valuable coins while sitting at their kitchen table after dinner. Treasure hunting doesn't always require expensive equipment. Sometimes all it takes is patience and curiosity. Condition is just as important as rarity. A heavily circulated 1995 D quarter with no unusual characteristics is generally worth only face value. However, an extraordinary error coin preserved in mint state condition tells a completely different story. Professional grading services evaluate every detail, including luster, strike quality, contact marks, and overall eye appeal. Coins achieving grades such as MS67, MS68, or higher become increasingly scarce. Even without spectacular errors, top population examples often command impressive premiums because so few survive in pristine condition. Collectors also pay close attention to full original mint luster. A coin that has never entered circulation retains brilliant reflective surfaces that shimmer as light moves across them. Combined with razor-sharp details and virtually no handling marks, Exceptional preservation creates a level of desirability that cannot be recreated once a coin begins circulating. Time only reduces the number of pristine survivors. Market demand has also changed dramatically during the past decade. More collectors than ever are searching through bankrolls, estate collections, and inherited coin jars hoping to uncover overlooked treasures. Social media, online auctions, and educational videos have introduced millions of Americans to modern coin collecting. As demand increases while genuinely rare errors remain fixed in supply, competition naturally becomes more intense. Here's something many people don't realize. Not every strange-looking coin is valuable. Environmental damage, scratches, chemical exposure, and post-mint alterations can easily mimic genuine mint errors. That's why authentication matters so much. Professional grading and certification protect both buyers and sellers by confirming whether an unusual feature actually originated during the minting process rather than after the coin entered circulation. Now comes the moment everyone has been waiting for. Could a 1995 D Washington quarter really be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? Under ordinary circumstances, absolutely not. Most examples remain worth only 25 cents. However, when an exceptionally rare combination comes together, an extraordinary mint error, elite condition, unquestionable authenticity, and competitive bidding among determined collectors, the market can produce astonishing results. Extraordinary coins have repeatedly shattered expectations because collectors compete for opportunities that may never appear again. Speculative discussions surrounding the finest possible examples have suggested values reaching as high as $667,000. Although such prices would represent exceptionally rare circumstances rather than ordinary market value. That possibility is what fuels the excitement of modern coin collecting. Every collector understands that life-changing discoveries are incredibly uncommon. Yet history continues proving that remarkable coins still emerge from forgotten collections, old bankrolls, inherited jars, and long-neglected piggy banks. The next headline-making discovery doesn't have to come from a museum. Could come from someone's kitchen counter. Here's your final attention reset. Before you leave this video, make yourself one promise. Tonight, check every Washington quarter dated 1995 with a Denver mint mark. Examine the edges. Study the lettering. Look for doubling, unusual shapes, clipped planchets, off-center strikes, die cracks, or anything that appears different from an ordinary quarter. You might spend 20 minutes searching and find nothing at all. Or you could discover the coin that every collector hopes to find at least once in a lifetime. Coin collecting has never been only about money. It's about history hiding in plain sight. Every coin carries the story of its creation, its journey through countless hands, and the possibility that one tiny manufacturing mistake transformed it into something extraordinary. Knowledge allows collectors to recognize what others overlook, and that knowledge is often far more valuable than luck. Remember, the rarest treasures rarely announce themselves. They sit quietly inside change jars, forgotten drawers, cash registers, and inherited collections, waiting for someone curious enough to look closely. The next time someone tells you that modern quarters are all the same, you'll know better. One careful inspection could reveal a piece of American minting history that escaped unnoticed for decades. And don't miss our next video, because we'll reveal another ultra-rare American coin that many people spend without a second thought. A coin with an incredible mint error that has stunned collectors and sparked bidding wars across the country. If you think today's hidden treasure was surprising, what comes next may completely change the way you look at every coin in your pocket forever.